Hello again. So we've been working our way through the Yan Shou Gong roadmap, and so far we've covered the learning triangle, the power plant model, the 5 stages of internals, and the 6 levels of energy.
Yeah.
What's the final?
The last one is what we call the milestones.
Okay.
And like the journey. Yeah.
So you're suggesting that there's milestones. So how many of these milestones are there?
There are about 5 milestones, 5 basic milestones.
Okay.
And then depending on whether you're doing healing or you're doing martial arts, then they diverge. And there could be further milestones.
Okay. So what are those initial 5?
Okay. It's grounding, centering, rooting, then the ability to sink energy to the ground and bring energy up from the ground. So, and then the last one of the 5 is the ability to bring that energy to your hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So perhaps we could work our way through those. So the first one, it was grounding. So what does grounding mean?
Okay. Grounding is the ability to have a connection to the ground. So in this case, it's a physical connection. That means that you feel firm on the ground, you feel steady, right? And it's not easy for someone to push you over, or if you're walking, you feel very solid and you don't easily fall over in case you step on a stone or something like that. And the quality of grounding for us comes from the ability to use your fascia, your myofascial connections, what we call strings, and the geometry of your body, right? How you step, how wide or how narrow, how you position your spine, whether you're leaning forward, and so on. So geometry plus the alignment of your fascia, your connections, give you the grounding.
So it sounds to me like that would have significant both health and martial benefits. It's like if I'm using it in a martial context, I have strength structure against my opponent, but actually using less energy while walking upstairs
as well. I mean, that gives you a better posture, a better way of moving, so that you actually conserve energy. You don't consume so much energy, while you're walking and moving around. You see?
Okay.
And and you become more stable on your feet. And I think that also helps, for someone to be more stable. Basically, they have a more firmer grounding, meaning you have a better sense of security.
Which, apart from anything, is definitely useful the more we age.
And that's right. I think one of the dangers of for the elderly is fall, suffering from a fall. So having better grounding and feel for the ground would give you, will prevent falls and injuries.
Interesting. So what's the second?
Okay, the second one is something we call centering. Centering is a common concept in martial arts. It's the ability to maintain your position. In this case, it's a physical position when somebody pushes on it, but rather than just resisting, you're sort of letting the other person's energy go around you. So imagine, a boulder in the middle of a stream, right? It is heavy enough so that the water doesn't wash it away, but it doesn't fight the water directly. The water just flows around it. So in the physical sense, I mean, if you use it in martial arts, if somebody gives you force, you don't fight it. You divert it, you redirect it. You see?
I mean, it sounds that sounds to me quite a little mysterious. Is it easy to do? Is this something that people find difficult to learn? Or
no, because that's why each of the steps are progressive. Because you can't divert an incoming force if you do not even have the initial stability. That's why grounding comes before centering.
Okay.
So if you have that bit of grounding, that helps you to resist the force. But if that force is greater than what you can resist, instead of fighting it or falling back, you just let it go past you, or you divert that.
So once you have the grounding, then you can
that
move
leads
into
to the centering.
Okay. And what comes next?
The next one we call rooting. Now, in many contexts, martial arts especially, people confuse grounding and rooting. But for us, the grounding and the rooting are two distinct parts, you see. They are similar in functions, right? Both give you the ability to stay on the ground. Now, how we distinguish it is in rooting, we call, let's backtrack. In grounding, is having a good physical connection to the ground. In rooting, it is having an energetic connection to the ground. So to go back to the chi metaphor, right? The man, heaven, and earth, it means to be able to connect our human chi to the ground chi. Meaning that if someone pushes on me, for example, I can absorb his energy, sink it to the ground, and go down to the ground. Meaning that I do not have to fight his energy. I just let it go down. And subsequently also with rooting, because I have that connection, energetic connection, I can also bring energy up from the ground. And this is a common saying in a lot of internal martial arts. The energy comes from the ground. So you can think of it that way, is that the rooting is having an energetic connection to the ground. Of course, the how of doing it,
I mean,
of course, there are various techniques and so on.
I mean, that sounds even more mysterious than the centering. Again, is that hard to learn?
Well, if you have got the first two, that's why, again, it's progressive.
Okay.
Then learning the third is a matter of practice and learning the right techniques, you know?
I mean, is
And
that
the
something
methods.
that I'm going to have to spend 5-10 years learning?
No.
Or
If you already got the the grounding and the centering, we can probably teach someone how to root in a matter of, say, half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
That's good.
But again, you see, it builds up, you see.
Yeah.
If someone comes to me fresh and say, oh, I want to do rooting, they probably won't be able to do that, even if I teach them the methods, because they must achieve the first two milestones first.
Okay.
Right? That's why they're called milestones, right?
Yeah.
You have to go through one by one. You can't teleport
Yeah, absolutely.
in the middle of a,
So that's 3. And the fourth.
Then again, you see, once you have that, the rooting, which is the energetic connection, you can sing energy to the ground. That's why you hear this commonly mentioned in many internal arts, you know, how to sing, how to be sung, you know, the looseness. Then you can sing energy to the ground. That is one part of it, right? The next milestone. And also to be able to bring energy up from the ground. That means that I can sink and then bring the energy up and rebound to sort of bounce the person or convert it into a strike. Yeah.
Okay.
So this realizes the metaphor of what they say, energy comes from the ground.
So that, by the sounds of you mentioned that has a martial application. Does it have a healing application as well?
Of course, because one of the principles of when you're doing energetic healing is you try as much as possible not to use up your own internal store of energy. In other words, you don't want to deplete your own batteries.
Okay.
So you try to use external sources of energy, right? And of course, one of the obvious one is the earth. Okay. Again, coming back to the heaven, man, earth, right thing concept, right? You either borrow energy, or draw energy from the ground for healing, or draw energy from the heavens for healing, of course. But you start with the ground first because that's simpler.
Because you can feel it more directly in your feet.
Yeah, I mean, also as a process, right? In terms of the philosophy and steps, you start with ground first, then you go for that, the heaven one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's 4. What's the last of these 5?
Then once you can bring the energy up, obviously for both martial arts and healing, you don't want just the energy up to your body, your dantian. You want to be able to bring it all the way to your hands. And again, this is part of the transmission system we talked about in the power plant theory. Right? So you want to bring the energy up all the way from your feet, your legs up to your torso, then you'll be able to put it into your hands. So then you can use it for healing or martial art purposes. Okay. So that in itself is a higher level of skill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm getting the impression that these are all topics that can be covered in Yan Shou Gong workshops,
definitely,
and classes.
Yeah.
So if people want to make progress through these
the milestones,
then absolutely they can come along to one of our
definitely,
workshops and try.
And we have had students who already gone through this path, you see. Yeah. We've
Okay.
gone through the milestones, yeah.
Okay. And you say there are more that we can cover on another occasion.
Yeah. And depend on whether you use it for healing or for martial arts, then there are further milestones there. So these are the basic milestones, and from there they diverge, you see, depending on whether you're doing healing or you're doing martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing about those on another occasion.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome.